of the many reasons we're all blessed to call this our home is this scenic St. Johns River that spans more than 300 miles through 12 counties here in Florida. And this natural beauty cannot be taken for granted, and we have a big stake in its health and well-being.
Without further ado, let's welcome Steph Morrison, Outreach and Engagement Specialist, and Ashley Boyce, an Education Director of the St. Johns Riverkeeper, on ways we can learn more about, enjoy, and protect our river. So great to welcome you both. We're so lucky to live here. We're always saying that, right, Jordan?
Yes, absolutely, so beautiful, and we need to preserve that, right?
Yes.
So what are some of the challenges that we're seeing, or that I guess I should say the St. Johns River is facing or seeing?
Well, there are a number of challenges that the river actually faces all up and down its 310 miles. Here in Jacksonville, one of the biggest things that affects the river and that we can actually change is the amount of fertilizer going into the river. We have a lot of toxic algae blooms that happen, some years more than others. I've only been with the Riverkeeper about a year, but there's been quite a few. There was quite a few last summer, and unfortunately we're probably looking for some this summer as well. Right. And so that fertilizer goes into the river, washes out of your beautiful green lawns, goes into the river, and that algae loves it. So it starts to grow and grow and grow, and it can become toxic to humans and pets. It becomes toxic to the fish in the river itself. So that's one of the biggest things facing the river.
So what can we do to mitigate something like that?
One of the best things you can actually do is plant native plants, and don't really focus on a green lawn. A green lawn is a monoculture. Basically, you have nothing for pollinators, nothing really that is just aesthetic. So focus on native plants that you don't have to fertilize. Focus on native ground cover or Florida-friendly ground cover instead of your St. Augustine grass, your Bahia grass, stuff like that.
So interesting. Yeah, really, St. John's is our lifeline, and there's nothing worse. You're on the river walk and you see this white foam coming down the river, and I said, that doesn't belong there. So we want to protect this lifeline of our whole area, right?
Right. So how does the Riverkeeper help mitigate? Because you told us something maybe we can focus on, but how do y'all help?
Right.
Steph? So we have a combination of so many efforts with our whole team. We have outreach. We're going out into the community and educating people on these issues. You know, the river, it's here, we see it every day, but people aren't necessarily thinking about it. It's as ubiquitous as,
we got dolphins.
You know, we have dolphins.
We got all these ecosystems, and it's rich. It's one of the world's, it's one of the world's finest rivers, hands down.
Truthfully, it is a lifeline in our state. We're one of, you know, we have a very unique dolphin population in our river that lives exclusively in the St. Johns. That's incredible.
That is.
So we educate folks on how wonderful our river is, the issues facing it today. We also have an education team that goes to our schools and teaches kids about things they can do and what's going on. And we also help people experience the river. You know, if it's not something you've been lucky enough to enjoy in your everyday life, if you didn't grow up kayaking or sailing or anything like that, you know, you don't want to protect something that you don't care about.
Right.
And so we want people to care about the river as much as we do. And so we help folks get out and explore and enjoy all 310 miles of this glorious river.
One of the few rivers that flows north in the world, too,
so
as well.
cool.
It's actually more common than you think. The Nile, the Amazon, yeah, that's always been kind of like a fun claim to fame, but really many rivers flow north.
Okay, that's very good. And so this river, this special river we call here at home, where do you see it? Where do we see it 20, 30, 40 years down the road if we start taking better care of it?
Hopefully less algae blooms. I mean, we do have climate change, so that's going to affect it. Some of the best things, like I said, we can do is the planting of native plants. Being more aware of the river in our backyard, and also for going upriver, because it flows north. When we're going south, we call it upriver. Going upriver, there's a lot of things going on down there that affect us in the long term. And these storms, more storms coming up, it affects the salinity, the salt content of the river, so that shifts too. So we're hopeful, you know, with education and outreach and our advocacy and our whole team, that we can, you know, make a difference with the river come in the future.
And one way is through events, right? So tell us about some of the upcoming events.
So as you probably know, April is Earth Month. So we're taking advantage of the entire month to celebrate the river and just this beautiful environment we have here in North Florida. We are participating in the Great St. Johns River Cleanup. So all month long, there are cleanups all over Jacksonville, all over North Florida, that the public can participate in and get involved and clean up the river. We also have the Bartram Frolic that's going on.
Yeah.
Ashley, do you want to talk about the Bartram Frolic?
Certainly. So every year around this time, we spend a week in Palatka. We spend Earth Week in Palatka, and we bring as many second graders in Putnam County as possible. We bring them in. We have booths from partners. They go in little stations around these booths. They learn hands-on different things about the river, about their area. I mean, Putnam County is such a beautiful county. And they go on a boat ride, and our kind of thing is the boat ride, but we in the Bartram Trail Society really work hard to bring that. And then on Saturday, they have an actual public event. So the Bartram Trail Society holds the Bartram Frolic. And so we're actually tabling there. We will be there most definitely, but it's a really fun time if you're interested in nature, the environment, and the area.
And I feel like when kids have that knowledge, right, they feel empowered and they want to do something.
Right.
And then they just tell their friends, and then their friends tell their friends, and then family, and it just kind of bleeds out. So great to start at a young age.
Right.
If we want more information on what you guys are doing, if maybe we want to volunteer, or we want more information on the events, where can we go?
Definitely stjohnsriverkeeper.org. You can become a member, or you can just join our events. You can join cleanups. You can just come to our public events. Really, you can get involved in any way you want to.
Wonderful.
Awesome. We appreciate you being on the show and spreading the awareness for a
all the work you
healthy,
do.
bright future for all of us, thanks to the St. Johns River.
Yes.
Thank you so much
Thank
for
you
having
for
us.
having us.
Of course.
Okay, and of course you can head to our website for much more on this, and that is firstcoastliving.net.